Hello everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to Adventures in Metaphysics and another week of deck experiences followed by choices. Now, this week was not very hard to choose at all, I have to say. We will get into that afterwards, but sorry, I'm hoping there's not too much noise. I've got the windows open just to kind of get some fresh air in here. It's actually a little bit cool outside because it's gonna rain. And I just like the bird noises. We've had a lot of birds around. We've been seeing a lot of bluebirds. We have orioles, which I am so excited about. The first one kind of popped up in the yard yesterday and they are these like neon orange color. It is so amazing. And one came right up to the kitchen window. It was really cool. So we have those, which is awesome. And we have birds in my little birdhouse in the front. I think they're house finches. They've been kind of hanging around our yard a while. I thought they might have already had a nest, but I'm not positive. They don't typically, house finches, I'm not sure if they typically nest in birdhouses, so it could be something else, but I saw a little bit of red, so I think it is. Anyway, that's the update from this week. So let's just get right into the decks I used. So I think we will talk about the oracles first. Move these aside. The first oracle I used was Coastal Curiosities, and I feel like I don't need to keep saying all the things about this deck because at this point I'm sure you know I all love this one. It's one of my absolute favorites. Top 10 decks for sure. It just goes really well with a lot of my decks. It's one I like to bring out a lot. It's one that if I'm not sure what to pair with a certain deck, I get this one because it really just tends to pair very, very well with most of my decks, if not all of them. So I was happy to have this one out. It's such a favorite and I'm sure you'll be seeing much, much more of this deck because this one probably comes out the most. I love my Prairie Majesty. That's another real favorite Oracle deck, but that one, I feel like it's got a very specific, not a specific use necessarily, but the cards have guiding questions, so you almost want to be in the mood to have those, where sometimes with my daily readings or my morning ones, I like them to be a little bit general so I can sort of shape the message myself, if that makes sense. So anyhow, Coastal Curiosities. Next, we had my combined Herbiary and Bestiary. I was interested to use this week because I've kind of been questioning whether I wanted to keep these two combined or honestly separate them out again and maybe only keep the Bestiary. I wasn't sure. And I don't think I can really make any sort of call on that, you know, after just this week. But I will say that I think kind of, oh, the House Finch. I love that card. I love these birds so much. I haven't used this deck in a while, and I think kind of putting it aside, I was using it a lot when I first got it. I think putting it aside and then coming back to it, and using it for my morning polls. I'm not really sure if I was doing that. I really found that I did like them combined. I wasn't having the experience of getting an herb card and being like a little disappointed where I feel like that was happening before. Although I have to say, I feel like I really did pull mostly animal cards now that I think about it. I'm not sure. But I do love the artwork and I do like working with herbs. We're gonna have to, I think we're gonna have to give this one another try soon, which I am perfectly fine with because I do love these decks. I really do. And I think they work perfect for this time of year because we're seeing these things, you know, either prancing around in the yard or sprouting in the yard here. So, ooh! Oh my gosh. So it's just, I really like using this right now. I think my thought was that I love my Woodland Wardens. I'm just gonna get this card now. I love my Woodland Wardens, and that combines animals and herbs in a way that really, really works for me and works for what I like to do with my practice. And obviously these are meant to be two separate decks, so they don't combine them, but I also think, I'm questioning that. I kind of feel like they do a little bit, not in the same way. But yeah, I don't know. I still can't, like, I can't say that I'm not enjoying the Herbiary, so we're gonna have to give this one another try soon and see if that feeling changes. But I did really enjoy using this week, and it paired super well with the tarots I picked. So we did the oracles first. Usually I do tarot first, but we did the oracles because we've got some things to say about the tarot decks. I think we will start with the Ellen Iona Tarot, which is the deck that you all picked out for me to use this week. And, well, I have to admit, I really wanted to use my Teddy Bear Tarot. I feel like it was meant to be a little bit, because this is a deck that I think, like I mentioned, I am squeaking in this chair. I just realized that. I'm moving around. Anyway, I think I mentioned it in last week's video that this is one that really, like, needed to come out and get a chance to shine a little bit, because I kind of got this one in. I liked the artwork, but I put it aside and I just didn't really pull it out. So I think this deck is really beautiful. I do. I love the colors. I love the artwork, and kind of how it's an RW or a Smith-Waite clone for sure. But I do like how it kind of zooms in on certain things or changes a few little things here and there. I do really like that, but I will admit that I did not find myself excited to use it. As beautiful as it is, and it read really well, it paired so beautifully with Coastal Curiosities, both in a reading sense and just aesthetically. It was beautiful. But I don't know, I just wasn't, I found myself kind of saying things in my head of like, oh, like I really should use that today. Like, I had this other one I'm excited about, but I should use that today. And that's not how I want to feel about my decks. You know, I want to be excited. Oh, I do love this card though. Look at that Page of Cups. It's like, I do like the artwork. So I'm not certain about this one. I don't know if it's honestly because it is a Smith-Waite clone with people. Like a real clone, you know what I mean? That might just be why I'm not excited by it. Like, I have my Centennial in a tin, and I really pull it out kind of for study purposes. I don't tend to do readings with it because it doesn't excite me. I don't know that I don't know if I need this. I don't know if there's really a spot for this one in my library. But we're gonna have to see. I got that idea in my head, and then I tried it again and got such a good reading. I was like, oh, I don't know. But also, sometimes, especially with a deck like this, where it is truly a clone, to me, I'm kind of like, okay, I don't attribute the really good reading necessarily to a deck when it's kind of like this, where it's not like the deck goes its own way or the guidebook is just fantastic, and that, like, something I read in the guidebook is what made me feel a certain way, or something different in the, like, different imagery given to the card. You know, this doesn't give me that. Honestly, I think it's just, I like the colors, I like the illustration style, but it doesn't really excite me. So as much as I do, like, I do like this one. I think it's a really awesome deck. I just don't know if it's one for me. This might be heading to the timeout bin for now, because I don't know. I feel like I got in a few decks last week. Does that happen to any of you, where it's like you order a few, but it's not like you order them like in the same day or even in the same few days, but for some reason they just show up on the same day or like the same week? I had one of those weeks last week, or like kind of all spread out between the last 2 weeks, I would say. Nothing that extreme, but I just have a few decks, even whether they're new or ones I've had for a while that I'm so much more excited about, that I found myself when it was like, oh, I should use this deck, kind of scanning my other ones, being like, oh, but I really want to use that. So I feel like that's talking that through with you all. I feel like that was the sign I need. This one might be heading to the timeout bin, as beautiful as it is. So that is the Ellen Iona Tarot. And I think if you're someone who likes Smith-Waite clones or is looking for a deck that stays truer to that imagery but something different, this really is an awesome one. If that's something that you enjoy. Now, the other deck I've been using is the Queer Tarot. And I really like this deck. It's very different for me. It adds something new. This is this is also a Smith-Waite clone. But to me it adds something different with the more diverse cast of characters we get. The bright colors is really, I just love the colors, honestly, and the patterns, and I don't know. I just really like this one. I think the guidebook is really great. I find that when I read it, I do get something new out of it. So I think that's kind of the difference there for me. But now this is one that I said, I was challenging myself a bit to see if a possible way to, or a method I could do for getting to know a deck better is to pick one and use that as one of my tarot decks for the whole month, and then each week I'll rotate out just one. I was really excited about it, and I figured I would pick this one because I really wanted to get to know it, and I figured what better time than Pride Month, And so I really enjoy this deck, but I have found myself starting to think about it a little bit in the way that I had already been thinking about the Ellen Iona Tarot, of like almost feeling like I had to use it and dreading it a little bit because of that, and getting like sounds so silly, but getting like a little bit resentful. And when it comes down to it, it's just because it's not the deck. I love this one. This one's not going anywhere. I really love it. And so I think, oh, anyway, let me finish my sentence. So I love this one. It's purely that I think I just need a total change from week to week, because the weekly decks has been working and I've been loving it. And I do feel like I am slowly getting to know my decks better through this method, so I'm happy about that. But having one that has stayed constant for the past few weeks, I think isn't working. So we're not gonna do it anymore. But I think what I've decided is I'm just gonna leave this one out. So I'm gonna pick my 4 decks for the week, and this one's just gonna stay out. And if I look at it in the morning and I'm like, ooh, I wanna use that today, we're gonna do it. So again, we're being flexible, we're rewriting the rules as we go. I don't want to get in a situation though where I accidentally make myself dislike this deck just because I'm pushing myself to use it and see it more than my brain wants me to. I hope that makes some sort of sense, but it's been so much fun to use this. Like when I started feeling myself feel that way, I knew I was like, we need to put this one aside a little bit and allow myself to just explore other things for the week, because I don't want to feel that way about this deck. But it's gonna stay out, and I think that might be what we do, is we might still pick one for the month and just keep it out, and it'll be kind of one that throughout the whole month, if I see it on my desk and I'm like, I want to use that one, regardless of what the decks of the week are, we're gonna use it. So anyway, that is the Queer Tarot, and that was my last deck from last week. So I guess we'll just keep in the order of things, and we'll start with Oracle first. So this week, the first Oracle I am using is the Home Oracle. And I have trouble reading. Oh, it's by Crew Chai. I got this one off of Etsy. Oh gosh, it's a certain Etsy store where you can kind of buy a lot of decks from creators who are in Thailand. So I can't remember the name of it. But it's the Home Oracle with a period in between each letter. This one might not be available to buy anymore. But the creator's Instagram is Awakening Art, I believe, and it seems like she is working on a new oracle deck with an art style very similar to this. And what makes me really excited about this deck is that the creator is an art or works with art therapy. So all of her artwork is informed in that way. And so it just makes for really interesting images, and it's got keywords that I feel like you do see a lot in oracle decks, but the artwork, you really have to kind of pay attention to what's going on there. And it makes you look at those things in a really different way, or at least that's been my experience with it. So I've had this deck for quite a while now, but I just haven't really pulled it out much. And so I saw it in my cabinet and I was like, you know what? This is the week for it. Plus I think it's gonna pair really well with a new tarot deck, or both of my tarot decks are new. One of them. I think it's gonna pair really well, so that was kind of my inspiration as well, but I really love this one. Every time I bring it out, I have a good reading with it. Look how cute too. I love the art. So this is the Home Oracle. Woo! I'm launching things everywhere. Oh my gosh, no, my next 3 decks. Okay, the rest of the decks are new. Let me get this in its box right. I don't have this one in a bag because I just kind of really like the box. It's unique. It fits in sideways like this, and then this slides over it. If I can get it to go. See? I just think the box is fun, so I just keep it. I keep that one in its box. So, next oracle deck came in a plain bag, so we're going to show the book. It is the Wisdom of the Cailleach, an oracle and journey with the old women of Ireland by Jane Bridson. Now this deck is beautiful. It's kind of up there with me, for me, and reminds me of the Old Ways Magic Oracle, which I have and love and use constantly. So I actually was introduced to this deck by Sandy from Exploring Tarot. She sent it to me. I don't know, it must have been morning for her because of the time difference. She's in Finland, so it's really funny because I feel like at different times we probably like wake up to all these messages from each other, because there's like in the evening for me she's sleeping, and in her morning I'm sleeping. So anyway, besides the point, I woke up to her saying, I got this one and I think you're gonna like it too. And I was like, Sandy, you can't do this to me because I do love it. And now, not that I have to get it, but I really wanted to see this one in person and try it out. I'm so glad I did, and so glad that Sandy showed this one to me because it's just been really impactful so far. So it is a deck that is entirely inspired by Cailleach, who is a figure that I don't know much about, but I really am fascinated by her. So I'm excited to learn more through this deck. And I mean, the artwork is just stunning. It reminds me, I can't remember who, related it to the Weaver's Oracle. And it does, see that portrait? It does look very similar to that. And I love the Weaver's Oracle. I don't have it, but from what I've seen of it, it looks amazing. I just know it's just impossible to get at this point, so I'm okay, you know, just looking at the pictures of it. But now, like, I feel like this kind of fills that, like, crone energy, maybe. Are you okay? You okay? You're okay. Stevie spooked herself. She hit the window screen and it made that noise, and she spooked herself. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. My nose is itchy today. We are all over the place today. My apologies. Crone energy. I think it's a really cool deck to connect with that. Also, look at that. She's got the cards. See the backs of the cards? Oh, I just noticed that. That's so neat. So I'm really excited to spend some time with this and really get into the guidebook because it seems interesting. It's split into like these maybe 3 or 4 different categories of the cards, and I've not gotten to look into that yet, but yes, yes, yes. Wisdom of the Cailleach. Very excited about that one. Now we're up to tarot. Awesome. So my first deck I will show you, actually we're going to show the guidebook for this as well, because it's also, this one didn't come in a box. This came from, not Game Crafter, not Make Playing Cards. Oh, I can't remember the name of the other one. It's very similar. It says like print on demand decks. I can't remember now, but one of those. It is the Tree Spirit Tarot. So this is the guidebook. You can get the guidebook right on Amazon, and this is a meaty guidebook by Laurel Virtues Waters. And I am super excited about this tarot. This deck is entirely inspired by Thea at Garden Goddess Tarot. She showed this deck on her Instagram and in a recent video, I believe, and just hearing her talk about it, she said, if you are a tree lover, you would love this deck, and I was like, okay, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. I love it. I love it so far. So the guidebook is really awesome. For each card, you get a whole write-up here about the tree. It tells you all about the tree and sort of like goes a little bit into how it relates to the card it is paired with, but then you get the message and the challenge. So instead of saying like a reversal, it's the challenge, and I love how that's phrased. So you could, if you're doing a quick reading and just wanted to see the message, you just get the paragraph here. So you could do it quick, but I love reading through the whole thing and getting to know more about the tree and like its attributes that sort of made the creator think like, yeah, I would go with this tarot card, of course, I guess I should show the cards because they are also very beautiful. I love the backs. So I'm really excited to get into this deck. I feel like what excites me about this deck is that it feels very connected to nature, but most of my other decks I have are animal decks. This one is not animal, so it's plants, but it doesn't sort of lean, it doesn't lean at all, so into flowers and herbs. I feel like a lot of times when I get plant decks, they lean very heavily into flowers and herbs, which is okay, and those are, great to study for in their own way, but I just find that that's not really something I connect to, or really am interested in having many decks that speak on that. So what it really excited me is that, it's just trees. The only energy you're getting here is trees, and that's something that really fascinates me and interests me, and I just love trees. So I'm really excited to have this kind of plant nature energy without needing to lean into, the florals or the herbal areas. So this is the Tree Spirit Tarot. Also, I kind of feel like, don't quote me on this, but it's an inkling. I kind of think this might do what the Majestic Earth Tarot, or what I was looking for the Majestic Earth Tarot to do for me. I still have that deck, and I do really like it for its artwork, but I find there's some kind of disconnect when I use it. Something for me isn't clicking when I use that deck. I don't know what it is, but I think this could turn out to be what I was looking for, but we'll see. We'll see. So that is the Tree Spirit Tarot. Last but not least, we will be using the Crimson Asteria Tarot. So this is one that, I've always thought was beautiful, but I can't say it was too on my radar. Now, one that, sorry, Stevie is being a little wacky again. What are you doing? What are you doing? You okay? Anyway, oh my gosh, this is gonna be all over the place. I can't say it was one necessarily, like, it was on my radar a little bit because I really like it, but I can't say it's one that I really ever thought I was going to get. But I saw mention of the Solara Occulto deck possibly coming back into print. It seems like maybe like next year, and that's a deck that I've loved. But as I'm sure we all know, it's not easy to get a hold of. It's, you know, it just sells for like pretty outrageous prices. So, you know, I kind of wrote that off as like, okay, we're just gonna admire it online for the people who do have it to enjoy, and that's enough. And I just never really have looked at this one. So anyway, with the talk of it coming back, I was asking Allie from Totero, you know, if she just knew any more information about it, because I only just kind of heard an inkling of that. I think from Amanda, might have mentioned it. So I was asking Allie, like, have you heard of this? Like, because I knew she liked these decks, and she had, but then she said, do you have the Crimson Hysteria? And I was like, no, like, I think it's really pretty, but I've honestly never really looked too much into it. And she was like, okay, I think you need this. I think you're gonna like it. And she mentioned that she had a spare copy if I wanted to buy it from her. And it was just one of those things where she was just like, I think you need this. Like, I think you're really gonna love it. And I tend to trust that because I've not been led astray. And Allie, I just know she wouldn't lead me astray. We like a very similar deck. So when she said that, I was like, okay, I really feel like I need to give this a try. So this came in yesterday, and I'm so excited about it. I saw this one on Kickstarter. I didn't end up backing it because I wasn't sure how I would feel about a monochromatic red deck, but it is the perfect shade of red. It's like that real pinky red, which, oh my gosh, I just love it. And look at the edges. So pretty. And I don't know why. It's just this one totally kind of fell off my radar. I have not seen a flip through of it. Like, I had seen nothing of it. So when she said that, you know, I went and watched a bunch of walkthroughs and stuff. And again, I feel like when someone is like, I think you're really gonna like this, you need to try it. I just want to try it because I'm like, oh, that's such a cool thing that someone like sees a deck and thinks like that I would enjoy. Like, you know, I don't know. Does that make any sense? Oh, this video is all over the place today. I apologize. So I'm really, really, really excited to try this out. I love the extra cards. You get like kind of the extra Oracle cards. There's also that beautiful Medusa card. Oh, so pretty. Yeah, so I'm particularly excited to pair this with the Home Oracle. I think that's really gonna work well. There's a chance we might pull out Memento Mori because Allie mentioned that could work really well too, and I'm curious to try, but I wanted to work with the Home Oracle this week. So anyway, Crimson Hysteria, that is our 4th deck of the week. I should probably start rambling before I just lose track even more. So yes, I hope you have all had a wonderful weekend. Let me know in the comments below if you use decks of the week, or if there's just, maybe it's month, or if there's just a deck that you've really been loving right now. I would love to hear what you all are using. I think it's so fun. And there's a few other people who post these videos every week, and I love getting to see them every Sunday. So let me know in the comments what you have been loving using recently. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful end of your weekend and start to the week.